Hello world, I'm Chris Pirillo, and I'm streaming live again in this channel. And that's interesting because of another bit of news that I'm going to share with you today. You're watching another live edition of the Lockergnome Daily Report, or TLDR for short, which I almost couldn't do. It's your daily dose of geek news, product views, and answers that you can use, like an answer to the question, why is Chris weird today? Well, he's weird every day, but something really weird happened to me this morning. Microsoft. Oh, you knew I was going to go there. So apparently, a handful of people who publish videos on YouTube have had strikes against their account for having published videos that may or may not have infringed on Microsoft's copyright. And I had one of my videos in relation to this particular incident get flagged. So I have a strike in the classic vlog channel, which had a video about Windows 7, helping users figure out how they would be able to upgrade. So I was actually helping Microsoft. This is not going to be, by the way, a slam on Microsoft at all. I'm not going after them with guns blazing. I am a little upset, as you can imagine. I was watching a video by Frugal Tech, who is an amazing, to me, amazing tech YouTuber, the kind of guy I like following. I love his candor. I love the fact that he's older than me. Sorry, Bruce. But I like his style. And he'd published a video because one of his videos got flagged. A video that was critical about Windows 8, which, wouldn't make any sense. And I started thinking, well, there's no way Microsoft's going after critical reviews, because I would have been... I probably would have been the most critical. But then again, I don't play favorites. I'm critical about everything. I'm a critic. So, as I'm watching Bruce's video, suddenly on my YouTube page, I was logged in the vlog channel, in that account, I get a pop-up notice that I took a screenshot of and published to Twitter and Facebook, saying, hey, your video about Windows 7, which I think it was upgrading to this edition or this edition, which ones do users want to choose? It's been flagged as a copyright violation, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I go overboard in not publishing copywritten information, audio, video, imagery, anything. I mean, to the point where there are times when I want to show you an app or anything, and I'm afraid. I fear. You don't understand as someone who, if you don't have a channel, you don't understand how potentially really bad it could be. For example, I've got one strike against my account that I do believe is a false strike. Anything I would have done in that video, I would consider absolute fair use. So I mean, that's my stance. That's what I'm sticking to it. That's what I'm sticking to because that's the type of approach that I generally take. And I've been doing YouTube, at least in that channel, since 2006. So I'm really careful about that. And if I notice that something's wrong, and if it's an older video, I'll take steps to correct that. Absolutely. But I do not believe that I was violating copyright. Certainly not guilty of what I was accused of. So Microsoft, as it seems, in the takedown notice, and Bruce had noticed the same thing, so this is verifiable. Soldier Knows Best has also been flagged. There are a couple of other people who publish tech videos on YouTube, large and small, who have also been flagged for one reason or another. Microsoft seems to have hired a company to issue these takedown notices, but there's no telling as to what it is that's prompting the takedowns. Why this is happening, it's random. It doesn't mean that every Windows video you've done is going to be taken down, but it seems that anything that's titled Windows 7, 8, Windows 10, any of those variations could be subject to a takedown, potentially. The problem with YouTube's copyright flagging system is that it's easy to issue a takedown, and you're guilty until proven innocent, and it's really, really dangerous for content publishers like myself. So this is the reason I'm able to stream live in this channel, because this channel didn't get flagged. Yay, this channel. I'm very grateful for that, but everything's running an hour behind. I haven't even gotten to the reason why I was up till 5 in the morning. That has nothing to do with it. So I don't know what's going on effectively, but it seems like there was a mistake that was made, oversight. I do not believe that Microsoft is going after people who support Windows. I don't believe that they're going after critics of anything that Microsoft has done. It just doesn't add up. I would imagine that the third party that they hired to issue these notices or to take care of some problems, I believe that it may have stemmed originally from a legitimate problem. There are some legitimate problems that happen on YouTube, and Microsoft could have been trying to clean that up. I don't fault them for that at all. It's well within their right. I have an issue with the way that YouTube implements the system. It's blanket. So if Microsoft had an issue with one of my videos, I would have appreciated them coming to me, and I realize it may not scale, but I would appreciate them coming to me and saying, hey, do you mind, there's something that's happening on the page for the video, it's the video itself, the title, the tag, this something, to let me know and let me correct it. Because I'd be happy to correct it if it was legitimately something that needed to be corrected. I've been flagged before falsely by companies who use third parties, and they look at a title and they say, no, this video cannot be on YouTube because it violates copyright. Well, no, it doesn't. In fact, I had one video flagged twice to the point where I deleted it. Adobe came after me twice because of the way I titled a video that was not infringing on copyright. I was exonerated. Years later, they flagged it again, and I'm like, but you guys said I was okay. How is this even possible? So I'm frustrated. I'm a little upset. It's bothersome to me, and I really believe YouTube they're doing a good job at protecting copyright owners. They're protecting their rights. I'm not going to fault them for that. I am not going to fault Microsoft for trying to protect their own copyright. I am not going to fault them for that. It's within their right. My issue is how it's being done, because I don't think it's Microsoft's fault. I don't think it was. If there was anything that was being done, I think it was for legitimate reasons. I'd like to believe that. That's what I'd like to believe, but I don't have enough information. I'm still in the process of getting all this information to the point where a Microsoft employee, Scott Hanselman, he had his Windows 8, which I linked to, his video the other week about the Windows 8 preview, or the Windows 8.1 preview, or something like that. I linked to it. Scott's a great guy, and I really like Scott a lot. He got flagged too, and I'm like, but there's no way. I mean, you wouldn't have published anything. You work for him. Well, it just doesn't make any sense. So things aren't adding up. I'm confident we'll come to a resolution, but I was seeing over and over again on Twitter, like, my video got taken down. Oh, yeah, mine too. So I started a hashtag, Microstopped. I do not believe Microsoft is anti-community. And why does it seem that my frame rate is really choppy on this preview window? That's weird. Sorry. Issues when you're your own production assistant and producer and director and talent in a video. Hopefully I'm coming across loud and clear. So, I'm still trying to get through the situation. I do not believe Microsoft is anti-community. I don't believe that every Windows video is getting taken down. But of course, when I see it, I'm like, are they going after every Windows video? This just does not make any sense. Why was this one flagged? Why? Mine. It was just completely random. And it was supportive. That's the thing. The video that I did was supportive. I'm like, oh, cracks me up. So I took to Twitter, and I'm like, come on, like, obviously we're not alone. There are people who are getting flagged. And I'm going to go as far as to say some of the videos that got flagged may have been legitimate flags. I'm telling you, I do not believe that anything that I did would have been anywhere remotely in the realm of being illegitimate. Anything I would have done would have, I guarantee, be under the umbrella of fair use. Or it was some other reason apart from the video content itself that got me flagged. Either way, I've offered to Joe and Brandon, who obviously work for Microsoft, if you follow Microsoft news, and I do, I've offered to do a video with them, sitting down with them in person. Hello, I'm here in the Seattle area, and talking about how they want to engage the YouTube tech community or people on YouTube in respect to Windows. Things that they would love to encourage, and maybe some of the things that they said, this is what, if you want to do videos about Windows, this is what we suggest you not do, because I think that we just got thrown under a blanket of a problem that we just don't know what that problem is. And I don't think it's a problem with the videos themselves. I think it's just a problem with the current flagging system, and we have to resolve that problem. So I harbor no ill will. I don't think there was anything personal here. I don't think it had anything to do with stifling opinions at all. And maybe that's, I just believe that. I'd like to believe that. And I've been given no evidences to the contrary. So I'm not going to sit here and knee-jerk react and call them evil. They're not. Microsoft's not evil. They were just protecting their copyright. But I just think that there's a wrench in the works. I just don't know what that wrench is. So I'm offering, again, in public, to sit down and I'm not the kind of guy to pull punches. I will not pull punches. I'd be happy. I'm like, they obviously know the videos I've done on Windows 8, but I will also say that I wasn't wrong. And I'll have to do that in the same room. But I've also been equally as critical with their competitors. So I don't play favorites that way. But would be happy to sit down with the right people at Microsoft to talk about how they want to engage the YouTube community so that we can move past this, and so that it won't happen again, or so that it could. I don't want a chilling effect to happen where people, they're starting to get worried. Is Microsoft going to do this with my Windows video? Maybe I'm not going to talk about Windows 10. Maybe I'm not going to do Minecraft videos since they now own Minecraft. Are they going to take down Minecraft videos next? So I don't have all the answers, and I know that if they respond swiftly and legitimately remove what I believe are false claims, or certainly well within or under the umbrella of fair use, because I can't defend the indefensible. I can't. But they've got to be very careful about this. This is something that could be very, very damaging to their brand. And considering how strong the tech community is on YouTube and how many Windows users there are, the chilling effects could be very palpable. So that's all I know about the situation. It's the reason why I'm running late for the live stream today. Not that a lot of people tune into the live stream. I live stream every day, twice, and the Supernomies get to watch it live, which is cool. It's just another bonus and a benefit to them. So I wasn't expecting that I was going to babble about what I have titled Microstopped, because I didn't want to, another gate on it. I mean, we were stopped. And it was this is Microsoft Corporation, and they stopped the video. Like, that was accurate. I was presenting the information, and it is what it is. So that is the reason why that's happening. So why was I up till 5 in the morning? Everything's fine. It's just that yesterday Jedi had a slight incident where she may have had a clogged nasal passage, and this is how babies, specifically newborns, may breathe. So she kind of turned purple for a bit. We got a little concerned. She breathed. She was able to inhale and breathe just fine. We were able to take her into the hospital, to the emergency room, and everything's fine. Everything's normal. But we went in at midnight, and we're there until 5 in the morning. And so the vlog for that day is going to be me coming home, because I didn't have a chance to even record anything for the vlog yesterday. It's basically a raw vlog after we came home from the hospital at 5 in the morning. So it's just been, everything's just been, I haven't been able to do the things that I normally do because I've had a rather abnormal day for the past less than 24 hours. So thank you for bearing with me. Thank you for your support. And I haven't even showered yet. Oh, so much fun. Okay, so as you very well know, now that I'm done talking about an incident that will hopefully be resolved and addressed swiftly by the time this video goes public, one could hope, I'm keeping a careful eye on all the social feeds and monitoring them very carefully, because obviously I have an interest into how this is going to evolve. Rode caught a tweet that I sent out. John Prosser from Front Page Tech had mentioned that as I'm recording the podcast, just using my iPhone, just using the mic because it's just easy. I mean, I can record, it works. John does post on it. He suggested I pick up a Rode SmartLav. And I'm the kind of guy, I'm like, well, John likes it, and John's an audio guy. He likes audio, and I don't necessarily hear the difference. I'm not an audiophile, which is why you don't hear a lot of, or see a lot of headphone reviews from me, because it's just not something that I necessarily geek out about. So he said, get the SmartLav Plus, or something along those lines. And I was like, oh, okay, well, so I threw it out there, and I asked, does everybody else think that this is a decent product? And then Rode responded, and like, hey, send us your address. We'd love to send you some samples. And so they did. They sent this SmartLav Plus. I guess it's kind of for a review, a pseudo review. I don't really review things. My review is using it. So what you're going to hear in the next podcast in a couple of weeks that everybody will hear, because I do a podcast every week, patrons at a certain pledge level and higher can listen to the one I've currently recorded. Everybody else gets it on Monday. This weekend I'll record the next one with this mic, and mention that I'm using this mic in the recording. It's a mic that was specifically designed to be used with iOS devices, and it even has a clip. I don't know if I'm going to use a clip. I'm probably just going to set it there, because I don't want to be tethered or accidentally brush it against my shirt and introduce any kind of noise. They also sent along the SC6 and SC3. This would allow me to plug in headphones and monitor live, or listen to playback as I've got the microphone plugged in. And then a TRRS to TRS adapter, which would allow me to use this microphone in any other system that would make use of that particular connector. So Rode hooked me up, and I've been using a Rode product. I've got a Rode shotgun mic on top of this Canon HV40 streaming into a computer, which is the one I use. And what's weird, I must have toggled some kind of setting, but I'm seeing like 24 frames per second in my preview window, it seems. I don't know why. It's bizarre. I must have accidentally toggled a setting. As long as you can see me fine, I'm okay with that. So there's a good product view. I also want to thank Max 3000 in 99 and Amanda. I think it was Amanda. They sent us a care package, which you'll see in the vlog the other day. I now have the character encyclopedia. Not comprehensive, but this is the type of book I would have loved to have as a kid. It's about the most comprehensive book or encyclopedia on Star Wars characters that I've ever seen, and I'm very, very happy to have it. I would have loved this as a kid. I mean, this is the kind of book I would have just loved to read. I've been reading all the stats, all the information, memorizing things, and knowing things. You know, as an adult, it's fun to flip through, but I know this is the type of book I would have flipped for. I mean, absolutely flipped for as a kid. Let me go ahead, since I'm about halfway through a half-hour broadcast, run through this particular presentation, showing you all the people who are my super know me. Well, not all. At a certain pledge level or higher, you get your name here. Bonuses all the way down. In fact, I'm about to add a couple of other bonuses, I hope. Something that I switched to in the car, Jerry left behind a few weeks ago. He left behind a monoprice adapter for his iPhone. And now I guess he switched to the OnePlus One or something like that. I'm sure for good reason. But he left it at home. I'm like, I wonder how well this works. So I tried it. I'm like, okay, I'll search for something like this on, and to buy it on Amazon. Buy it, really. I use my free Amazon points to exchange to get a lot of the products that we get for the house. My toys, Jedi's diapers, etc. It's largely thanks to earning points on go.tagjag.com/free apps and go.tagjag.com/free points. So I picked up an Anker charger, even though I probably could have gotten it on review. I just bought it. It was, I can't remember, 20 bucks or something like that. I was using free points, so it wasn't a big deal. Anker is a brand that I've begun to trust with accessories, and I got the 24-watt dual-port car charger, so it's effectively like something you would stick in what they used to call the cigarette lighter adapter whole port thing, although I don't think they called it that specifically. You know where the cigarette lighter used to exist? Now it's just a power port. So the genius of this particular one over others is that not only does the included lightning cable, which is good, because sometimes you mix and match cables and adapters and it doesn't work very well. I've had issues where I've plugged in a phone into an adapter or charger and it wasn't charging very fast. It's because I wouldn't call it a non-quality adapter or charger. It's just that if it's not built to support fast charging, rapid charging, it's not going to rapidly charge. And in driving Jedi to the hospital last night, it was about a half-hour journey, and I was able to go from pretty low 20... No, was it almost dead? It went to 50. I want to say it was under 20 and it went to 50, it was ample. I mean, it was pretty fast for a half-hour charge. I was really happy with it. Haven't done a full charge with it yet, but very happy to have that in the car, if only because usually if I'm going from point A to point B, I want to make sure I'm fully charged when I get out of the car altogether because it makes things easier. So that is currently the adapter that I'm using in my car. If you care, maybe you do, maybe you don't. So let's see here. What else do I have? Pardon. On my list now that I've run through all these people here. Let me kick in the screensaver. It's kicking in. Oh, no, do not want to log in. I want the screensaver to kick in. Is it going to kick in? That's the screensaver. There we go. Electric Sheep, open source cross-platform. Pezliz says, pardon. This is in the comments. The same thing happened to me as a baby. Glad Jedi is okay. Yes, we are too. Prac97 says, so is Microstopped treading yet? No, it is not. I'm sure if The Verge writes something or a major publication writes something, it would. I've seen a lot of people I watch, like Soldier Knows Best, get flagged. I see a lot of people who got flagged fighting it. Well, they should. And that's about it. Okay, cool. Everything else was like, where's Chris? Where's Chris? Busy! Now that you know. I'm doing something, or I'm trying to do something. I've done it like 3 times in the past day. It's kind of neat. When I see a tweet come to me that I think is very positive, very, very supportive, I'm beginning to like screenshot it and then like basically tweet it out and tag the person saying thank you for this tweet. And I did that with Sippin' on Horchata. That's the handle he's gone by. He usually tags Toy Crew buddies on my Instagram photos where I don't do that. He posted something, thank you for deals.lockergnome.com. I had someone else this morning say something, thank you. I hope, I just wanted to say I'm thinking about you or something along those lines. That was a very positive message. And I would like to start doing that. I mean, it takes time, but I really like being able to surface the positivity in the positive comments that not everybody gets to see, because sometimes it's nice to be reminded that you do have supporters like that. And thank you for supporting deals.lockergnome.com. Okay, so where do I go from here? Oh, Earle Greene, one of the supernovies, sends me roundups every day. I love the guy. He sent a link to a new service called Comics Chat. And years ago, Microsoft had a product that I adored called, it was originally, I think it was MS Comic Chat, and then it became MS Chat or Microsoft Chat. What it was an IRC client developed by Microsoft where you could use it as a normal IRC client. But you could also chat, and it would, each person would have a different character. And you'd have this, I think it was black and white, comic strip. As your chat, you'd be comic characters back and forth chatting. It was so cool. It was like one of those things that, like, really, that's the kind of software I love. It was awesome. I loved that client. I've been looking for something like it for years and years. I wish something like that existed. A live chat where it turns people into comics. So Comics Chat, spelled with an X in the middle there, is something that's like it, although the design is, it looks like it's got promise, but it's got a long way to go. But Comics Chat apparently is an app that is like Microsoft Comic Chat. I am so disappointed in Mashable. They published an article and did not once reference Comic Chat from Microsoft Comic Chat. And like, really? Like, how could you not? Like, I guess I'm just so old. Not as old as Bruce, but I'm old. Just want to throw that out there. Okay, so Earle also sent a story that I thought was fascinating, linked on Discovery. Awareness after death. There's a new study that hints it exists. Just an amount of awareness after death. And I'm the kind of guy, I don't know what I don't know. There's a lot of this universe that is inexplicable, that could very well be explained. We just don't have the language for it. We don't have the understanding of it. And I think it is rooted in science and mathematics. Absolutely. So if there's anything that's kind of bridging the gap, it's that. There was also a suggestion, I don't know if I was going to talk about it, but, and it may have been Earle who sent this on, but no, it was a link that I saw, and I may have talked about this before, but another fascinating, I think they call it genomics, where the idea is that memories could be passed along at the DNA level. And, I mean, there's studies behind this, and it's pseudoscience to some, but I think it's fascinating. I think working on the fringe, today's fringe is tomorrow's fact. That's how, throughout the ages, it's how it's progressed. So it's always fascinating to me to read about these things, suggesting that, memories could be encoded in DNA. Scientifically speaking, I start thinking through and I'm like, where does instinct come from? Just think about that. Where does instinct come from? How do you know? These things that are built into your how does an animal know to do a certain thing? How? Instinct. How did instinct get there? Well, to me, wouldn't be that far of a leap to think that it could be a part of the DNA, the structure of some being. How did those instincts come about? It isn't learned behavior, it's an instinct, it's innate. Could memories be passed along through DNA? I'm just saying. I don't know enough about it, but it is a fascinating topic to explore. And here's where you meme it and go, aliens. With the unshowered Chris. Talking about aliens. That's the, you meme it down here. Aliens. You can even animate a GIF it. Story. So I was going to talk about Windows 10 updates and how they're going to be done differently. Another story that Earle told me about. But I don't want to tempt fate. I don't want Microsoft to get really, really upset. Because they're probably already upset at me for being upset at them for doing something that I think was relatively unprovoked. But that's neither here nor there. Let's see here. About 5 minutes or so before I really start wanting to wrap up. I think I mentioned this. If it wasn't to the vlog, then it was yesterday. It was to Diana directly. The electronic glow of our mobile devices is affecting our sleep. Now, charging those same devices next to our bed could be making us fat. It all has to do with the blue light emitted from the screen, which hurts the production of the sleep hormone melatonin. Not to be confused with melanin, which I don't believe is a hormone. This was basically, research that's being done. If you sleep next to a smartphone and it's always on, there could be a chance that's hurting you. It's less of an issue for me. I have I charge the phone, constantly. I'm charging it right now. I'm about, dead battery life. But it's just something to be aware of if you sleep with a screen or anywhere near a screen that may be hurting you, damaging. Nielsen admits a software glitch has been screwing up recent TV ratings. I just don't understand. I understand the concept of where Nielsen was valuable decades ago. What I don't understand. Well, that was weird. No, it wasn't a takedown. It was a glitch in the software. I think. At least I believe I'm still live streaming, even though I went black for a second. So I'd imagine these services know what I'm watching. Why do they need a third-party service to tell us what everybody's watching? Seems that they have the data, they're just not using it appropriately. So I don't know how Nielsen's going to evolve, but it seems to me that they need to evolve, especially with a software glitch throwing things off. Netflix, speaking of entertainment, is now charging new subscribers a bit more for streaming 4K content. Well, I don't have a 4K TV. I currently don't have a 4K camera, working on getting one and recording a vlog in 4K, maybe even a geek video on this channel in 4K. And you'll hear more about that later and soon, hopefully. But yeah, charging more for higher resolution content, I suppose people who are buying 4K screens have more money to spend. I just don't know I think it's too soon. It's too soon. Too soon to say goodbye. Okay, I was channeling my inner Cosette, Les Miserables, which I'm sure just flew over everybody's head. The idea, though, of charging more for higher quality content, I don't think is a question. 4K is just so new that they may be hurting themselves. Or someone would say, oh, I love Netflix. Oh, they have 4K content, but they charge me more? Well, I want to upgrade my screen. 1080p is fine. Netflix could be hurting themselves in the long run by making short-term profit gains. That's my perspective. I'd feel that way about any company doing something like that. 4K is just too new. Too new. And there's always a challenge of the screens may exist, but where's the content? There's some amount of content, and to some, it's worth it. I think most people could see the difference between, if they were looking at a very detailed image, or a video of a 4K image versus a 1080p versus 720p, I think the less discerning eye could detect the difference. I could. But it's not enough to get me to upgrade because there's not a lot of 4K content. Hell, there's not a lot of 1080p content that you can get through streaming services, apart from, on the computer, through traditional television. So, I'm fine. Half the TVs we have around here are still 720p. Plasma, which they're not even being produced anymore, the series from the brand. We only have a couple of 1080p screens, which do get used, but to me, it's a law of diminishing returns. And I just don't know if this is really the right move for Netflix to make. It's up to them, but I think it's going to hurt adoption of 4K screens that would be capable of supporting 4K content. But people who have enough money, they don't care. So maybe the market that they're targeting is the people who have, they don't care about an extra $1 or $2. But it's just that, to me, is it worth that much more? I don't see that. Let me explain. I don't see the difference between a DVD and a Blu-ray. And it could be that I'm playing it on the wrong TV, but I just don't. So I haven't found the justification to upgrade from a 720p set to a 1080p set. So that's why I haven't really been driving to 4K. Doesn't mean that I wouldn't take the opportunity at all. In fact, if Apple, and I've mentioned this, if Apple announces 4K, any kind of 4K screen, or beyond, I may likely update because it's been a while since I've done those kind of updates, at least at the system level. So it's not that I'm trying to eschew 4K. It's just that everything happens incrementally, and it just depends on a use case. I just don't know. I'll ask you this. Is 4K content to you worth spending more on or not? And it may be. I'm not here to take away from, if you think something's valuable, I think you should absolutely spend money on it. I just want to say that I don't know if that's really going to benefit Netflix in the long run because of the potential hurdle it takes for people to buy 4K screens. Until my 720p screens I've had since 2005, almost a decade, and they're running like champs. I have no need to upgrade. But when I do, yeah, it'll probably be to a 4K screen at this point. But that upgrade cycle is just a long upgrade cycle, and content doesn't necessarily drive it for me. So that's just me. It's my perspective. I'm willing to pay for content, obviously. But in terms of higher quality content, I guess I'm not the target market for that. Okay, yeah, I'm still streaming. Let me make sure. Oh, Cassie Lowe loves Les Miserables. Awesome. Nielsen is watching me. Thanks. Love Les Miserables. Especially, my favorite edition is the one that the recent movie that was done with Hugh Jackman. As far as I'm concerned, that is the definitive edition. I don't know if I'd want to watch it in higher quality than I have, but let me put it this way. It's one of those movies that I've gone as far as to purchase digitally so that I could watch it on the go. Very rarely do I do that. Very rarely. I think Sweeney Todd is the other one. Two musicals. The next one is probably going to be if and when Star Wars goes full digital. Of course I'll be buying or renting or buying the right to, or license from it. Not buying the right. I mean, just to have it, to license it, because you don't actually own the content. It's a license. They're saying, yes, you are able to watch the content the way that we say that you can watch it. So I'm willing to pay for content. Always, always, always. You'll never hear me argue otherwise. I just don't know if I can always justify it in terms of a higher quality. It just depends. The only other bits of information I want to slide in there today, because there was a longer story that I wanted to dive into, but since I took a lot of time talking about Microsoft, which of course I'll keep people up to date on it, I didn't have time to dive into a topic I wanted to dive into, which I may do tomorrow, which is in relation to journalists. And this is a quote. This is what you can look forward to tomorrow, me talking about, and I quote, "I think the only future for journalism is reader revenue. Without it, you are in danger of becoming a public relations or advertising company disguised as journalism." And that's very, very important in relation to what I've been trying to do. Not just getting away from advertising like completely. And this, I'm on the cusp. I can't. I mean, we've got a great supportive base, but I cannot, in order to continue to do what I'm doing, I can't cut off any avenue at this stage. We do not have a big enough community that understands why that could be damaging. And I love sponsors. Sponsors are not advertisers. I will absolutely continue to work with sponsors, but I've been trying to wean myself off of ad-based revenue for the longest time, and I just can't do it yet. Can't do it. Not in the position. But advertising is absolutely different from sponsorship, and I've gone into detailing the differences between the two. So that's what I'm going to be talking about tomorrow. To wrap up, Earle had also sent me the link explaining that Myst is now turning into a TV series. I never played the game, but it was popular. But if you played Myst, it's coming in, to your TV. Hey, they could turn Tetris into a movie, allegedly. They could do it with any video game. I want Jumpman Jr. to be a video game. Macworld, and this is what I'm going to leave you with. Macworld, the conference I actually spoke at a few years ago, apparently is going on hiatus. There's going to be no event for Macworld in 2015, which is disappointing. But it's just, I think the community's kind of moved on a value of having that expo. Apple pulled out of the event a few years ago saying that, we engage our customers at our stores now. And I think after Apple pulled out, just the cost of running a conference, it was unsupportable. I would have liked to have seen Macworld evolve a different way. In fact, I'm probably going to drop a note to Paul Kent. I think it could and should survive in a certain capacity in the way that he tried to take it. Briefly, that's the part I was involved in, and I think it could. They need to think at a micro level. I would do it like how he did it. He kind of created like a Gnomedex type of event within, which is an event that I ran for 10 years, within Macworld, and I think he could do that again, easily. I think there's an extreme value in targeting an audience and not just going after the masses. Completely different economic model, though. Completely different. So I'm going to, Paul, I know you're not watching. I love you, and you know that I do. I'm going to drop you a line. I think there are ways to work around this or through it to keep the Macworld brand alive, if only because you can't do it the same way that you have been doing it. I'd hate to see it get sidelined. Macworld was awesome. I did Macworld videos in the other channel years ago. No takedown notices for those. So the title of this video is going to be, I was Microstopped. Hashtag Microstopped. Here's what you got to do. If you're watching this video, or you're watching this far into the video, which I assume if you're listening to me, you are. If you see another YouTuber who's getting flagged or says, oh, I got flagged, have them tag that Microstopped so that more people can be aware that this is happening and that they are not alone. Let me go here. I'm checking because I tagged Tech Meme on this, and yeah, they haven't reported it yet. Like I don't understand why GeekWire is about the only bigger brand that GeekBeat TV did something. GeekWire's done something, but I think it's bigger than that. I think it's something that's impacting a lot of bigger YouTubers. So no gate here, but I was hashtag Microstopped. Then I'll have to start. I'll have to start the hashtag Microstarted. If I can get past it, we'll see. I am hopeful. So, thank you, everybody, for your support. I'm going to go ahead and turn my attention to the Q&A with you and me. Today I'm asking, or answering the question, how do you store your video files? Great question. And I will be addressing that in a separate video in this channel. Also, last night I recorded something I'd like to do on a weekly basis, an advice series, advice on something. Yesterday was advice on how to get through a Monday. Granted, my Monday was far from over at the time I recorded it, apparently. But I'm going to be editing something together, possibly having John put his touches on it. His touches. John from Front Page Tech. I work with him on various video projects. He's a superstar. So, thank you again for liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, paying attention. Hope you're happy, as long as your happiness does not come at the cost of anybody else's happiness. If nobody else has told you today, I love you. I appreciate you, and you gotta know, I believe in you. At this point, I'm going to leave you to your own devices.